The gates of Bergen-Belsen concentration camp creaked open on April 15, 1945, revealing a scene that would haunt the British liberators forever. Among those captured that day was a 22-year-old woman whose name would become synonymous with cruelty: Irma Grese, the beautiful beast of the SS. Born in 1923 to a rural family in Recken, Germany, Irma's early life offered no hints of the monster she would become. Her mother's suicide when Irma was 13 marked the beginning of a dark trajectory. In a Germany swept up by Nazi fervor, young Irma found purpose in the twisted ideology of the Third Reich. At just 18 years old, Irma volunteered for service in the concentration camps, beginning her career at Ravensbrück in 1942. The transformation from farm girl to SS guard was swift and complete. Within months, she gained a reputation for brutality that would make even seasoned SS officers uncomfortable. Transferred to Auschwitz in 1943, Grese's reign of terror reached new heights. Standing at roll call in her pristine uniform, polished boots, and carrying her signature pistol and whip, she cut an imposing figure despite her youth. Witnesses would later describe her almost theatrical cruelty. She developed a habit of wearing heavy perfume, which became a dreaded herald of her approach among prisoners. Survivors spoke of her particular fondness for selecting women for death, especially those she deemed beautiful. She would walk the camp with her leather whip, which she used liberally, accompanied by a starved dog trained to attack on command. Her private quarters were decorated with lampshades allegedly made from the skin of inmates, a grotesque trophy collection that spoke to her complete descent into depravity. At Auschwitz, Grese worked under Josef Mengele, assisting in his medical experiments and selections for the gas chambers. She seemed to take particular pleasure in these duties, often exceeding even the brutal standards of the SS in her enthusiasm for inflicting suffering. By the age of 20, she had been promoted to senior SS supervisor, the second highest rank possible for a woman in the camps. She commanded more than 30,000 women prisoners, and her word meant life or death. The power seemed to intoxicate her, and survivors reported that she would often smile while carrying out her acts of cruelty. When Auschwitz was evacuated in January 1945, Grese was transferred to Bergen-Belsen. Even as Germany's defeat loomed, she maintained her brutal regime. In the chaos of the camp's final months, with typhus raging and food supplies dwindling, she continued to terrorize prisoners with seemingly undiminished enthusiasm. The liberation of Bergen-Belsen brought Grese's reign to an abrupt end. British soldiers found themselves face to face with a young woman whose appearance belied her actions. Many were struck by the disconnect between her youth and beauty and the mountains of evidence regarding her crimes. During her subsequent trial at Lüneburg, Grese showed no remorse. She maintained a defiant attitude throughout the proceedings, often smirking at testimonies describing her crimes. When questioned about her actions, she claimed she was simply following orders, the common defense of many Nazi perpetrators. The trial revealed the full scope of her sadism. Witnesses described how she would select prisoners for death on a whim, sexually assault them, and conduct savage beatings. She would starve women to death for minor infractions and force them to kneel for hours in the snow. Her crimes were so numerous and well documented that the trial's outcome was never in doubt. On December 13, 1945, Irma Grese was hanged for her crimes against humanity. At 22, she was the youngest concentration camp guard to be executed. Her last words were "Schnell," quickly, delivered with the same cold efficiency she had shown in her duties. The story of Irma Grese serves as a chilling reminder of humanity's capacity for evil. Her transformation from a rural teenager to one of history's most notorious war criminals occurred in just 4 years. She represented a generation of young Germans who had been completely indoctrinated by Nazi ideology, embracing its most extreme manifestations with frightening enthusiasm. What makes Grese's case particularly disturbing is not just the nature of her crimes, but her youth and gender. She defied conventional expectations about who could perpetrate such atrocities. Her actions demonstrated that the capacity for extreme cruelty knows no boundaries of age or gender. In the aftermath of the war, psychologists and historians have struggled to understand how someone so young could become so ruthless. Some point to her troubled childhood and her mother's suicide as contributing factors. Others suggest that the Nazi system itself created the perfect conditions for sadistic personalities to flourish. The case of Irma Grese remains a powerful warning about the dangers of totalitarian ideologies and their ability to corrupt young minds. Her story illustrates how ordinary people can be transformed into willing participants in genocide when exposed to extreme ideologies and given unlimited power over others. Today, Irma Grese's name stands alongside other notorious Nazi war criminals, but her youth and gender make her case uniquely disturbing. She represents the complete moral collapse that characterized the Third Reich, where even young women barely out of their teens could become willing executioners. As the Holocaust fades from living memory, stories like Grese's serve as crucial reminders of how quickly and completely human beings can be corrupted by power and ideology. Her case continues to be studied by historians and psychologists, seeking to understand the dynamics of evil and prevent such atrocities from recurring. The legacy of Irma Grese is not just about one person's crimes, but about the system that created her and thousands like her. It's a stark reminder that the capacity for incredible cruelty lurks within seemingly ordinary people, waiting only for the right conditions to emerge. Her story remains a warning about the importance of remaining vigilant against the rise of totalitarian ideologies and the corruption of power.